Week 7 of lockdown, and as you can tell, I am feeling the effects of being stuck at home all day. Sometimes I find it comforting to lie on the ground. Anyone else? No? Okay, moving on. We've had a good run here though, so I really can't complain. Other countries and cities have endured lockdown for months, over a year even. The beginning of lockdown was a little exciting. An excuse to watch Netflix, not that you ever need an excuse. A few weeks later and I was settled into my routine. Wake up, start work, eat breakfast, maybe go for a walk, back to work, eat, work, eat, break. Every day is the same, and with nothing much to occupy my mind apart from the up and down COVID numbers, I started questioning what I was doing, what others were doing, how we got here, the visible inequity in our rising case numbers, the big corporations doing nothing to help. I got angry at university, at Instagram, at problems that I can't really do much about right now. After a metaphorical face slap from Mum, I tried to let go of my anger and focus on acceptance. I think it's working. For the most part, my mental health is fine. Pretty good actually. In comparison with previous lockdowns, this one has definitely been the best in terms of my mental health. Earlier I noticed I was relying on Instagram too much to fill the little gaps in my days, for quick stimulation, and it wasn't doing me any good. I deleted Instagram from my phone for a week and took a break. Keeping on top of my mental health means being aware of things that aren't serving me, whether it's an app, a job, a hobby, or even a person. During the week I took off Instagram, I noticed that my eating disorder was almost non-existent. On Instagram I follow recovery accounts and I'm reminded of thoughts that I used to have and behaviours I used to struggle with. But when I step away from that, I don't think about eating disorders much at all. I suppose in some ways 6 or 7 weeks of lockdown is kind of a test of my recovery. There could be a temptation to exercise more under the false illusion that there is more time for movement. There could be some falling back into old patterns of restriction, an attempt to feel in control of the situation, or an attempt to feel the sensation of reward that comes from losing weight when life feels so mundane and unfulfilling. But my recovery is in a solid place. So much has changed since the dark days of my eating disorder. I cook dinner, pies in this video, and I don't worry about weighing or measuring ingredients that don't need to be for the recipe. I make every portion exactly the same. I don't need to have a lower calorie version for myself. I can eat whatever, whenever, like this bowl of leftover spaghetti bolognese at 3:30 in the afternoon followed by a kiwi fruit. Yes, skin on. My recovery hasn't suffered during lockdown, and I'm really lucky to be stuck in a home environment that is actually very nice. Some things are hard though. My boyfriend doesn't live with me, although he does live nearby, so I deliver him some baking every so often, after I've reserved some of it for myself first, of course. I'm trying to do my PhD, and while I've lowered my expectations of what I can achieve during lockdown, I'm also bound by timelines so that I can hand in my thesis on time. I have supervisors who expect work from me at regular intervals. Lockdown happens, but it's not like those pressures go away. But the hard aspects of lockdown are so much easier to deal with now, without my eating disorder around. My eating disorder used to be a coping mechanism for hard times, but now that I've let it go, I have other ways to cope that don't threaten to kill me. All of this is to say, I suppose, that lockdown sucks, but an eating disorder sucks harder. So if you haven't already, please choose recovery.